Tunde Adeyemi was one of the most powerful businessmen in Lagos, a man who believed he could read people as easily as contracts. But on the morning of the most important meeting of his life, his assistant disappeared, his partners came smiling with a hidden trap, and the only person left in the office was a quiet cleaner nobody respected. He ordered her to change clothes, stand in the boardroom, pour water, and remain silent. But when Tunde was about to sign away everything his father had built, that same cleaner looked at page 7 of the document and whispered, "Sir, do not sign." In one moment, the woman he almost ignored became the only person who could save his company. But who was Nneka Umeh really? Why was a brilliant Lego mind hiding behind a mop in Lagos? And what terrible secret connected her ruined past to the powerful men trying to destroy Tunde? This is a Nigerian story of pride, betrayal, dignity, justice, and a love that begins when one man finally learns to see the woman everyone else overlooked. Lagos had already started shouting before the sun climbed over Victoria Island. Tunde Adeyemi entered through the private lobby like a man used to doors opening before he touched them. He was the founder of Adeyemi Meridian Logistics, a Lagos company moving cocoa, sesame, cashew, and palm kernel through Apapa and Tinkan Island ports. Bankers called him visionary, but that morning, his charcoal suit could not hide the tightness in his jaw. By 9 o'clock, he would sit across from 3 partners who had helped him build the company and were now smiling too much behind his back. Chief Bamidele Rhodes, Kunle Lawson, and Patrick Eze were speaking with investors without him and circulating documents through lawyers he did not approve. Tunde knew the smell of trouble. In Lagos business, betrayal sometimes arrived in a clean envelope, wearing English too polished to be innocent. His assistant, Shade, should have been beside him, but at 5:30, her message had come. "Sir, I am very sorry. I have serious malaria symptoms. I cannot stand up. I have sent the files to your email." Tunde called her twice. Her phone went off. As he crossed the lobby, he nearly stepped on a wet patch of marble. A woman in a grey cleaning uniform pulled her mop back quickly. "Please, sir, wet floor," she said. He stopped, annoyed more by his own carelessness than by her warning. "Madam, can you people not finish this work before executives start arriving?" he snapped. "Must the whole building smell of disinfectant this early?" She lowered her eyes. "Sorry, sir." The apology was too quick, too practiced. Tunde had no space in his mind to notice. He moved toward the elevator, then stopped. The meeting. He needed someone in the room, not for advice. Just someone to pass files, serve water, and keep the room looking organized. Without Shade, he would look exposed. He turned back to the woman. "You, how long have you worked here?" 8 months, sir." "Name?" "Nneka Umeh, sir." Her voice was soft but clear. She looked about 30. Her faded uniform and tired face asked for no attention, yet her eyes, when she lifted them briefly, did not look empty. They looked guarded. "Can you read English properly?" A shadow crossed her face, but it vanished. "Yes, sir." "Can you behave professionally in a boardroom? No unnecessary talking, no panic. Just pass documents, serve water, and follow instructions." "Yes, sir." "My assistant is unavailable. I need someone presentable for an urgent meeting. Go to Shade's office. There should be a spare blouse or jacket there. Wash your face, tie your hair properly, and change. You have 10 minutes. She looked at her uniform. "Sir, I am on cleaning duty." "I know. This will take 1 hour." "Madam, this is not village meeting. Move." "Yes, sir." 7 minutes later, on the 20th floor, the conference room door opened. Nneka entered. Tunde looked up and for one brief second forgot the sentence he was reading. She wore a simple white blouse and a dark skirt that must have belonged to Sade but fitted differently on her. Her hair was neatly pulled back. She was not glamorous in the Victoria Island way, but there was dignity in the way she stood, like someone who had once belonged in rooms like this and had learned not to say so. "Stand near the side table," he said. "What are there? Documents here. When I ask for any file, pass it. If a projector stops, call IT. Do not respond to anything unless I speak to you first." "Yes, sir." "And do not look nervous." "I am not nervous, sir." At exactly 9, the doors opened. Chief Bamidele Rhodes entered first in a navy blue senator outfit. Kunle Lawson followed in a crisp suit, charming and sharp-eyed. Patrick Eze came last, silent and polished. Behind them came 2 foreign investor representatives and a banker who had been too friendly with Chief Bamidele lately. "Tunde, my brother," Chief Bamidele said, "Lagos traffic did not allow you to smile this morning?" "Good morning, Chief." Kunle's eyes moved to Nneka. "Ah, new assistant. What happened to Sade?" "Unavailable." "This one looks quieter," Patrick said. "Maybe that is better for today." The men laughed softly. Nneka poured water without raising her head. After short greetings about fuel price, port delays, and exchange rate wahala, Chief Bamidele placed a folder on the table and the air changed. "Tunde," he began, "we respect what you have built, but this company has grown beyond one man's grip." Tunde leaned back. "One man's grip built what you are now trying to advise." Kunle smiled. "No need for pepper in the voice. We are discussing structure." Patrick opened his folder. "The investors are ready to inject serious capital, but only if governance is adjusted. They believe the managing director currently has too much operational and strategic control." "The managing director is sitting here," Tunde said. "Yes," Patrick replied, "and he should listen." Nneka moved silently along the side table, arranging cups nobody needed. At first, she tried not to listen. Her life now was buckets, mops, rent in a small room in Surulere, and avoiding anyone who asked what she used to do before. But some words had a smell. Interim control transfer, asset protection vehicle, preemptive dilution waiver. Her hand paused above a glass. "This says some logistics assets will be transferred to Meridian Holdings SPV, pending capital injection." Kunle nodded. "Temporarily." "Who controls the SPV?" "A neutral structure." "Who controls it, Kunle?" Chief Bamidele sighed. "Must you turn everything into suspicion? Neutral means neutral." Tunde picked up another page. His lawyer should have been here. Something was missing. He could feel it like a stone hidden inside jollof rice. Kunle leaned forward. "Sign the resolution today and we calm the investors. Refuse and the board may have to consider emergency governance powers." "There is no board resolution without proper notice." Patrick tapped the folder. "Notice was circulated." "Not to me. It went to your office." Tunde's eyes narrowed. "To Sade?" Kunle spread his hands. "Your internal communication failure cannot become the company's burden." There it was. The trap was closing. Chief Bamidele's smile became fatherly, which made it worse. "My son, pride is good when you are climbing, but when you reach top floor, pride can make you fall from balcony. Sign and keep your dignity." Nneka looked at the document nearest the side of the table. Legal language had never frightened her. Her eyes moved quickly over the clauses. Irrevocable proxy, automatic dilution, non-compete restrictions, management incapacity trigger. Her stomach tightened. This was not restructuring. This was a polite kidnapping of a company. Colin noticed her looking. "Our quiet madam is reading," he said with amusement. "Should we ask her opinion? Maybe cleaning staff now advise on corporate governance." Chief Bamidele laughed. "Leave the poor woman. She's only here to pour water. Those words should have sent her back into silence. Silence paid her rent. Silence kept old enemies from remembering her name. But page 7 lay open on the table like a loaded gun. Tunde glanced at her, irritated by the distraction. Nneka, pass the blue folder. She handed it to him. As she did, she leaned close enough and spoke in a voice barely above breath. Sir, do not sign page 7. His hand froze. What? Nneka stepped back. Her heart hammered, but her face remained calm. Kunle's smile sharpened. Interesting. The water has legal advice inside it. Tunde turned fully toward her. What did you say? Nneka swallowed. Every instinct screamed at her to apologize and return to her mop, but she could not unsee the trap. I said you should not sign page 7, sir, or page 11, and the schedule after the signature page is more dangerous than the proposal itself. Patrick's eyes changed. Tunde stared. Explain. Chief Bamidele's voice hardened. Tunde, are we really allowing cleaning staff to interrupt a board discussion? Nneka looked at him for the first time. With respect, sir, this is not a properly constituted board meeting. There is no valid notice, no quorum record, and no independent legal review disclosed to the founder whose voting rights are being restricted. Silence dropped. Kunle sat back slowly. Who are you? Nneka did not answer him. She looked at Tunde. Page 7 gives the SPV control over your port handling assets immediately after signing, not after capital injection. Page 11 gives them power to appoint interim management if there is any claim of operational instability. The schedule defines instability to include founder refusal to approve investor conditions. In simple terms, if you refuse them later, your refusal becomes evidence that you are unstable. Then they remove you. Tunde picked up the document again, reading fast now. Color drained from his face. Nneka continued, voice steady but soft. The dilution clause also waives your right to challenge the valuation used for dilution. If you sign, they can value the company low, inject through the SPV, dilute you, and still keep the assets already transferred out. Kole laughed once, but it sounded dry. This is nonsense. No, Nneka said. This is sophisticated. Nonsense is usually easier to fight. Tunde looked at her as if seeing her from a long distance. You understand this? Better than I wish I did. Chief Bamidele stood. This is insulting. I did not come here for one cleaner to accuse me of fraud. Nneka's hands shook at her sides, but she did not lower her head. I did not use the word fraud, Chief, but since you have brought it into the room, it may be wise to invite external counsel before anyone signs. The foreign investor representative closed his laptop. Perhaps we should pause. Kunle turned sharply. No need to pause because of dramatic interpretation from enough, Tunde said. He stood slowly. No one signs anything today. This meeting is suspended. Chief Bamidele's face darkened. Tunde, be careful. You are embarrassing partners who carried you. Tunde leaned forward, palms on the table. And you are carrying a knife under your agbada and calling it support. Patrick gathered his papers. This will have consequences. I am counting on it, Tunde said. That way, everyone will speak plainly. Chief Bamidele paused at the door and looked at Nneka with the kind of gaze powerful men used when they were memorizing a problem to remove later. You have a sharp mouth for someone in a fragile position, he said. Nneka met his eyes. I have had fragile positions before, sir. They did not kill me. He left. The door closed. Lagos moved beyond the glass, unaware that a man had almost lost his empire because he mistook polished betrayal for partnership. Tunde sat down heavily. Nneka reached for the water jug, then stopped, unsure whether she should continue pretending to be invisible. He looked up. "Who are you?" She folded her hands in front of her. "Nneka Umeh, sir." "That is not what I asked." She looked at the documents on the table. Her reflection appeared faintly in the glass wall. White blouse, dark skirt, old fear wearing new courage. "I was once a corporate compliance lawyer," she said, "before some people made sure I became nothing." Tunde said nothing. Nneka picked up the grey cleaning scarf she had left on the side chair, holding it like proof of the life she had chosen because the old one had burned. "I should return to my duty." "No." His voice was low, but it stopped her at the door. "Sit down, Miss Umeh." It was the first time he had addressed her like a professional. She turned. Tunde Adeyemi, who had entered the building believing power meant commanding the room, now looked at the woman he had nearly stepped around like furniture. "Please," he added. Nneka sat, slowly. And in that cold conference room above Lagos, with unsigned papers scattered across black glass, the rich man and the woman in borrowed clothes both understood that the real meeting had only just begun. The silence after the partners left was not empty. It was full of everything Tunde Adeyemi had almost lost. On the black glass table, the unsigned documents lay open like a trap that had failed to close. Lagos glittered beyond the windows, but inside the room, the air felt cold. Tunde sat opposite Nneka Umeh and looked at her like a man who had been pulled from the edge before he even knew he was falling. Nneka kept her hands folded on her lap. She looked like a woman who wanted to disappear before gratitude turned into questions. "You said you were a corporate compliance lawyer," he said. "I said I was once a corporate compliance lawyer." "Where?" "Obi and Banjo Advisory." Tunde's brows drew together. "That firm handled audits for banks, ports, and state contracts." "Yes." "You worked there?" "For 6 years. And now you clean floors in my building." The words came out sharper than he intended. He heard it too late. Nneka's face did not change, but something closed behind her eyes. "People fall in Lagos every day, sir. Some fall from scaffolding. Some fall from reputation. The ground still receives everybody." Tunde leaned back. "I did not mean it that way." "You did." He opened his mouth, then closed it. Nneka reached for the grey cleaning scarf on the side chair. "You should call your real lawyers. Also check Shade's email account and office access logs. Your assistant may be sick, but somebody used her absence very conveniently." "You think she betrayed me?" "I think people with money often use the person nearest to the door." That sentence landed in him like an old proverb. "You saw all this in a few minutes," he said. "I saw enough." "Because of your old work?" "Because betrayal has handwriting. Once you have read it closely, you recognize it even when it changes pen." A security officer peeped in. "Sir, Mr. Lawson's driver is downstairs. He said they forgot one envelope." Nneka stood before Tunde spoke. "Do not give them anything from this room." Tunde pointed at the officer. "Lock this room. Nobody enters until I say so. Send caller from legal here now." When the door closed, Tunde began pacing. Chief Bamidele sat with my father in his last days. Kule was in my wedding party. Patrick's children call me uncle. These men were not strangers. Nneka watched him carefully. That is why they came close enough to strike. "You speak like you expected it." "I expected life to be cruel long before I entered your building." Kola, his legal officer, arrived breathless 15 minutes later. Tunde handed him the folder. "Read page 7, page 11, then the schedule." Kola began reading. His face changed from confusion to alarm. Sir, this is not the draft I saw last week. The control number belongs to a version uploaded yesterday night through Sade's corporate account. Time, 11:43 p.m. Nneka said, ask for access logs. Do not accuse before evidence. Kola looked at her, irritation hiding behind confusion. And you are? Tunde answered before she could. The person who stopped me from signing my company away. Before anyone could speak again, Tunde's phone rang. It was Sade. He put it on speaker. Sade, who accessed your office last night? A pause. Sir? Who used your system? I don't know, sir. Nneka lifted one hand slightly. Tunde looked at her. She mouthed, calm. Tunde inhaled. Sade, if anyone pressured you, now is the time to talk. On the line, Sade began to cry. Sir, they said it was only to upload updated files. Mr. Kunle's legal assistant came with approval from Chief Bamidele. He said you knew. I gave him access because he had a letter with your signature. My signature? Yes, sir. I swear I did not know. Nneka took a notepad and wrote, preserve evidence. Ask for photo. Do not threaten. Tunde read it and spoke slowly. Send me a picture of that letter. Do not delete messages. Do not speak to Kunle, Chief Bamidele, or Patrick. The call ended. Kola looked shaken. They forged your signature. They tested the gate, Nneka said, and the gate opened. Tunde turned to Kola. Secure every system. Pull CCTV, access logs, and visitor register. Call Mrs. Ajayi from Akirele Chambers. I want independent counsel. Kola nodded and left. When the door closed again, Tunde turned to Nneka. I need you to stay. No. I will pay you. No. You have not heard the amounts. I have heard enough amounts to know that money can become rope. I am not trying to buy you. Not yet. That struck him. He moved away from the table, giving her space. What do you want then? I want to finish my shift and go home. That is not all. It is all I can afford today. Tunde studied her. You are afraid they will recognize you. Her silence answered before her mouth did. Are any of my partners connected to what happened to you? Her eyes lifted. There was a crack in the wall. Nneka, if the people attacking my company also destroyed your career, then our battles may already be joined. She laughed once, bitterly. Battles are sweet only in stories. In real life, people lose rent, family, licenses, names. What did you lose? She looked at the Lagos skyline. I lost my name first, she said. Everything else followed. I was compliance lead on an audit involving a maritime financing project, warehousing, port clearance, agri-export loans, foreign exchange allocations. On paper, it was beautiful. In reality, money moved through shell vendors and disappeared before goods reached the port. Tunde's expression changed. Which project? Blue Gate Corridor. Tunde went still. Blue Gate Corridor had collapsed 5 years ago. Newspapers wrote for 2 weeks, then moved on. He remembered one woman being blamed for leaking confidential documents and manipulating audit records. Nneka Umeh, he said slowly. You were that Nneka Umeh. Yes, and now you understand why I prefer mops. Mops do not read old newspapers. You were accused of falsifying audit evidence. I refuse to remove names from a report. Were Chief Bamidele, Kunle, or Patrick involved? Not openly. A company linked to Patrick handled vessel documentation. Kunle Lawson's brother sat on one vendor board. Chief Bamidele hosted the settlement meeting where I was told to be reasonable for Nigeria's sake. Tunde felt something cold move through him. After I refused, files changed, she continued. My access logs were altered. Money appeared in an account I did not open. My firm suspended me. My fiancé's family returned wine quietly. My landlord gave me 1 month. My younger brother stopped answering calls because people in the village said I had disgraced the family. I fought for a while, then I got tired. When you are poor, truth has transport fare, court has filing fees, reputation needs data subscription to keep defending itself. I ran out of everything. Tunde sat down slowly. This woman had been crushed by a machine that looked very much like the one now turning toward him. His phone buzzed. A message from Chief Bamidele warned him not to let an unknown woman poison his mind. Tunde passed the phone to Nneka. She read it without surprise. He knows enough to fear me. Tunde's anger became focused. Then stay. She shook her head. You are not hearing me. You see a useful weapon. A woman with old files in her head. That is not safety. That is another employer discovering my damage has market value. The words entered him deeply because part of him had indeed thought that way. He put both hands on the table. You are right. I need help, he said, but I do not have the right to turn your pain into my strategy. So let me ask differently. What would it take for you to help me without losing yourself again? Nneka looked at him, guarded and searching. Written contracts, she said at last. Temporary advisory role. Clear scope. No public announcements without my consent. Access to documents only through proper channels. No using my past story in press or boardroom drama unless I approve. I report directly to you and independent counsel. And? You will apologize. For what? For this morning, the lobby, the way you spoke to me, the way you ordered me to change clothes like I was furniture needing polish. Heat rose in his face, not anger, shame. You are right, he said. I was rude, arrogant, and careless. I treated you like your uniform reduced your humanity. I am sorry, Miss Umeh. She watched him. Do you apologize often? Not well. That one was not terrible. I will improve. Do that. By noon, the 20th floor had become a quiet war room. CCTV showed Kunle's legal assistant entering Sade's office at 11:31 p.m. with security clearance authorized by a forged letter. IT found that Patrick's office had requested archived documents the previous week. Independent counsel was called. Systems were locked. Kola stopped looking offended and started taking notes whenever Nneka spoke. Nneka reviewed the documents clause by clause, marking traps with a red pen. Tunde watched her work. She was precise, unsentimental, and dangerous in the way a surgeon's knife was dangerous. Not wild, not loud, but capable of cutting rot from living flesh. Late afternoon light entered the room. For the first time all day, Nneka realized she had not thought about her mop, her supervisor, or the shame of borrowed clothes. She had been thinking like herself again. That realization frightened her. At 5:30, Tunde's phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. Kunle Lawson's voice came smooth and cold. Tunde, I hear you are entertaining our former compliance queen. Tunde placed the phone on speaker. Nneka went still. Kunle chuckled. Nneka Umeh, Lagos is truly small. Be careful, my brother. That woman has a habit of destroying tables where she is not allowed to eat. Nneka stepped closer to the phone. No, Mr. Lawson, she said. I only point out when the food is poisoned. Silence. Then Kunle's voice lost its polish. You should have stayed invisible. Nneka's hand trembled, but her voice did not. I tried. You people came into the room carrying old tricks. This will end badly for you. It already ended badly once, she said. I survived. Tunde reached for the phone. Kunle, next time you call through your lawyer. He ended the call. For several seconds, nobody spoke. Nneka stared at the dark phone screen. Her breathing had changed. Tunde kept his distance. What do you need? She looked at him, and the answer came before she could hide it. I need not to be alone when they come again. Tunde's expression softened, but he did not make the mistake of touching her. You are not alone. She wanted to believe him. God help her, she wanted to believe him. But wanting was dangerous. Evening settled over Lagos. Traffic lights flickered below. Generators started humming in nearby buildings. The city moved into its night rhythm of horns, heat, hunger, and hustle. At the door, Nneka stopped and looked back at the conference table. The grey cleaning scarf still lay there beside the marked up legal documents. One life touching another. Tunde followed her gaze. Do you want to take it? Leave it, she said. Why? Because tomorrow I need to know whether I am coming back for the scarf or for the fight. She left before he could answer. When the elevator doors closed, Tunde remained in the hallway for a long moment. That morning, he had seen a cleaner. By noon, he had seen a lawyer. By evening, he began to understand that Nneka Umeh was neither the uniform people ignored nor the scandal people remembered. She was a woman standing at the edge of her own return. And somewhere across Lagos, the men who had buried her once were already learning that some truths, like harmattan dust, could settle quietly for years, then rise again and enter every room. The next morning, Nneka did not wear the grey cleaning uniform. In her small room in Surulere, she looked at two lives hanging behind her door. The uniform, washed neatly, and an old navy blue dress she had not worn in years. The dress belonged to a woman who entered offices through the front door. The uniform belonged to a woman who hid to stay fed. Her hand went to the uniform first. Shame had trained her fingers well. Then she remembered her grey scarf lying on Tunde Adeyemi's conference table beside red-marked clauses and forged documents. Tomorrow, I need to know whether I am coming back for the scarf or for the fight. She took the dress. At Adeyemi Meridian Logistics, Musa, the security guard, looked twice. Madam Nneka. She almost corrected him, almost said cleaner Nneka, but stopped. Good morning, Musa. Good morning, Ma. That small Ma sat strangely on her shoulders. On the 20th floor, people were already whispering. Some looked impressed, some looked offended. Kola from legal met her near reception with a folder and the careful face of a man who had spent the night discovering that his title had not protected him from missing a trap. Good morning, Miss Umeh. Mr. Adeyemi is in the boardroom. Independent counsel has joined by video. IT is bringing the logs. I reviewed your notes. You were right. I wish I wasn't. Yes, well, thank you. The boardroom had changed overnight. Files covered the black glass table. Tunde stood near the window, tie loosened, eyes tired but alert. When he saw Nneka, his face shifted. Not relief alone, respect. You came back, he said. I left my scarf. One corner of his mouth moved. Of course. The scarf was folded neatly on a chair. That small act touched her more than she wanted. Mrs. Ajayi, the independent counsel, appeared on the screen from Abuja, silver-haired and sharp-eyed. Miss Umeh, she said, I have read your notes. You have not lost your eye. Nneka went still. You know me? I know good work when I see it. I also know when good work was buried for political convenience. This morning, we build a record strong enough that no one can call it emotion. For hours, Nneka walked like someone slowly returning to her own body. She reviewed emails, metadata, sign-in records, and board communication. She traced how the altered proposal entered Sade's system, how the forged approval letter had been printed on the 19th floor, and how Patrick Eze's office had requested confidential asset schedules under the excuse of insurance renewal. Tunde watched her rebuild the trap backward. She did not speak loudly. She asked for dates, signatures, server timestamps, and visitor logs. When someone gave vague answers, she waited until vagueness became uncomfortable. At one point, IT manager Chidi tried to explain too quickly. "Madam, the access may not mean anything because shared drives." Nneka looked at him. "Chidi, in this office, do people sign into shared drives at 11:43 p.m. through an assistant's profile while printing forged letters?" The room went quiet. "No, ma." "Good. Let us not insult our ancestors with unnecessary grammar." Even Tunde almost smiled. By afternoon, the trap was clear. The partners would push Tunde into signing away operational control through the SPV. If he refused later, they would present him as unstable. If he fought, they would claim the documents were properly circulated through Sade's office with the forged signature as cover. Then Nneka found one small invoice, Riverglass Advisory. Her fingers stopped above the keyboard. Tunde noticed. "What is it?" "Riverglass was used in Bluegate Corridor." "How can you remember after 5 years?" Kola asked. She looked at him. "When a snake bites you, you remember the color of its skin." She opened old public records. Riverglass had changed directors twice, but one beneficial owner appeared through a dormant holding company, Kunle Lawson's elder brother. Tunde's face went cold. Mrs. Ajayi leaned toward the screen. "That connects this attempted control shift to the same network involved in the old maritime financing scandal." For years, Nneka's past had felt like a locked room she alone carried. Now, the door was open and everyone could see the dust inside. Tunde spoke carefully. "We do not have to go there today." "Yes, we do," Nneka said, surprising herself. They used the same methods: fake access logs, altered documents, payments to consultants who do not consult. Then, they isolate one person and make that person the scandal. She turned to Kola. "Pull every Riverglass invoice from the past 3 years. Check small payments too. They hide elephants by cutting them into goat meat." Kola began typing without argument. Evening entered the room. Her phone vibrated. Unknown number. "Still washing floors for men who will use you? You should have learnt after Bluegate. Stay out of this, Nneka." Her chest tightened. Tunde did not reach for the phone. "May I see?" She handed it over. His jaw clenched. "Kunle?" "Maybe, or someone who wants me to think it is Kunle." "Send it to Kola and Mrs. Ajayi. They will say I bring trouble. I will say trouble already has our address." The phone vibrated again. This time, it was her younger brother, Chibuzo. She had not seen him in nearly 2 years. "Sister, people are calling from village. They say your name is entering business scandal again. Please, I beg you, do not bring shame back to us." Nneka closed her eyes. Of all arrows, family always knew where the old wound lived. "In the village, nobody read the audit report," she said. "They only heard that Nneka was disgraced in Lagos. My mother stopped going to women's meetings for months." Tunde sat across from her, not too close. "My father died believing some people were his friends," he said. "After his burial, I saw strange asset transfers and old favors becoming demands. Maybe I did not want to face that some men who poured sand on his grave were already measuring the land under it." Nneka studied him. This was the first time he had offered pain without using it to win sympathy. "So you also know betrayal has family face," she said. "Yes." Another message came from caller. Riverglass received payments from entities linked to Patrick Eze. Also, one payment from Meridian Foundation account. Authorization unclear. Tunde stood. "Meridian Foundation? That is your CSR arm?" "Yes. Education grants, women trader loans, port community projects, my late mother's work. If they used your mother's foundation to move money, they wanted leverage deeper than company control." Tunde's face hardened. "They dragged my mother's name into this." The next day began with heavy Lagos rain. The foundation records were worse than expected. Grants had been rerouted through vendors linked to Patrick. Training programs existed only in photographs. Women traders in Makoko and Ajegunle had supposedly received loans they never saw. Some signatures were copied. Some beneficiaries had died before the payment dates. "They used poor women's names to steal," Tunde said, voice low. "Because poor people's signatures are easy to doubt and hard to verify," Nneka answered. They drove to Makoko to confirm the records. They moved from glass towers to wooden houses over water, from boardrooms to narrow walkways, from air-conditioned suspicion to the smell of smoked fish, rainwater, and survival. Mama Risi, a smoked fish seller, laughed when shown a receipt for 2 million naira. "My daughter, if I see 2 million, will this roof still be greeting rain inside my soup?" Another woman, Hawa, had supposedly signed for training equipment. She could not write her name. Nneka listened gently, asking questions in simple language, not making them feel foolish for crimes committed against them on paper. Tunde watched the women look at her with quick trust. She knew how to stand with people who had been used by documents they could not access. That evening, they brought signed statements and recordings back to the office. The evidence now touched corporate control, forged access, old Blue Gate links, and misused foundation funds. It was no longer only a defensive fight. It was a chance to expose something wider. At 9:12 p.m., while Nneka was alone in the records room scanning statements, the lights went off. The building had generators. Lights should have returned within seconds. They did not. Nneka stood still. A sound came from the corridor. Footsteps, not hurried, coming directly. Her body remembered danger before her mind formed thoughts. She moved behind the shelf, clutching her phone. No signal. The door handle turned. A man entered with a small torch. "Nneka," he said softly, "come out. We only want the files." She knew that voice. Femi, a former document officer from Blue Gate, the man who had testified against her 5 years ago. "Still hiding behind paper," he said. "You never learn." The shelf beside her shook as he came closer. Then another voice cut through the dark. "Tunde, security team, they come upstairs now. If you like your teeth, step away from that room." It was Musa from the lobby. The man cursed. Footsteps ran. A door slammed. Seconds later, emergency lights came on. Tunde appeared with security, face dark with fury. Nneka was still behind the shelf, one hand pressed over her mouth. He stopped at the doorway. "Nneka?" She could not answer. He entered slowly, then crouched several feet away. "You are safe. He is gone." Her eyes filled. "Femi," she whispered. "From Blue Gate. They sent Femi." Tunde looked at Musa, who stood breathing hard behind him. "How did you know?" Musa swallowed. "Madam Nneka greets me by name every morning. When I saw one man from visitor lift after power cut, I knew something no pure. I followed small. Fear had come, but this time it had witnesses. Nneka slowly stood. "Check the files," she said. Tunde blinked. "What?" "Check whether he touched anything." "Nneka, sit first." "Check the files." Her voice was breaking but firm. Kola rushed in and checked the scanner, laptop and file box. "Everything is here." Only then did Nneka sit. Tunde looked at Musa. "From tonight, no one enters this floor without 2-level clearance." "And Musa?" "Yes, sir." "Thank you." Musa nodded. "We protect our people, sir." Our people. The phrase entered the room like warmth. Later, Tunde found Nneka in the boardroom. She had stopped shaking, but her face looked far away. "I am tired of people entering dark rooms to rewrite my life," she said. Then we stopped defending quietly. She looked at him. "What are you saying?" "I am calling an emergency board session. Full board. Investors, regulators, if Mrs. Ajayi agrees. We present everything." "They will attack me." "Yes." "They will bring Bluegate." "Yes." "My family will hear." "Maybe." "I may lose the small piece I built." Tunde's voice softened. "Maybe. But the peace they can destroy with one phone call may be hiding, not peace." She closed her eyes. "When I came back for the scarf, I told myself I was choosing the fight. But maybe part of me still thought I could fight from a corner and return to being invisible." "Do you still want that?" She thought of Musa following footsteps because she greeted him by name, of women in Makoko laughing over stolen loans, of her brother's message, of Femi entering the dark with the same old voice. "No," she said. The word was quiet, but final. "I want the lights on." Tunde nodded. Then we turned them on. Outside, rainwater shone on Lagos roads where secrets could hide for years inside traffic and ambition. But above it, in a boardroom where a cleaning scarf still lay folded beside legal files, Nneka Umeh understood that returning to herself would not happen gently. It would happen under bright lights, in front of people who once buried her, with her voice shaking if it must. But this time, when the room tried to go dark, she would not be alone inside it. The emergency board session was scheduled for Friday morning, but by Wednesday evening, the whole company already knew that war had entered the building. Nobody said it plainly. Lagos offices had their own way of carrying news. A receptionist lowered her voice when Nneka walked past. 2 managers stopped talking as soon as Tunde entered the lift. Someone from finance whispered that regulators might come. By close of business, Nneka had become a disgraced lawyer, a hired spy, and a cleaner who thought a borrowed blouse could turn her into boardroom madam. She heard enough to understand the plan. If they could not break the evidence, they would dirty the person holding it. On Thursday morning, as they worked in the small strategy room beside his office, Tunde's phone kept lighting up with messages from board members, investors, and old family friends. "My son, be careful of outsiders. Tunde, this woman has history. Do not let emotion ruin what your father built." Nneka did not raise her head from the transaction timeline. They have started calling elders. When people want to bury truth in Nigeria, they first wrap it in advice from elders. "You do not have to attend tomorrow," Tunde said. "If we present evidence without me, they will say I am hiding because I am guilty. We can protect you from some of it. I have been protected before by people who told me to stay quiet for my own good. Silence did not save me. It only made their version louder. Then we prepare. We prepare for the insult," she corrected. "They will mention Bluegate. They will mention that I cleaned floors here. They may mention my family. They will not discuss facts until they first try to reduce me. Let them speak. Let them show who they are. Then we answer with paper. Tunde stared at her. Why will tomorrow be different? Nneka looked toward the window, where Victoria Island traffic crawled like restless beads. Because last time, I thought truth was enough if spoken clearly. Now I know truth needs witnesses, timing, copies, receipts, and people who will not leave the room when powerful men start sweating. He nodded. I will not leave. By evening, an anonymous blog published her old photograph and repeated every accusation that had ruined her name. Then her brother sent a message saying their mother was crying because people in the village had seen the story. Tunde looked at her carefully. Do you want time? If I call now, I will become daughter, sister, disgrace, explanation, apology. I need to remain a witness until tomorrow. Friday came with hot sun and a sky too bright for secrets. The boardroom was full by 9. Tunde sat at the head of the table. To his right sat Mrs. Ajayi, who had flown in on the first flight. Kola sat with files stacked in front of him. Nneka sat, wearing the navy dress. Across from them were Chief Bamidele Rhodes, Kunle Lawson, and Patrick Eze. Beside them sat board members, investor representatives, an external auditor, and a man from the industry regulator. Chief Bamidele opened with a sigh heavy enough to pretend sorrow. Tunde, I must say I am disappointed. This company used to handle family matters with dignity. Now we are calling regulators because of noise. Mrs. Ajayi smiled gently. If it is only noise, Chief, today will be short. Kunle leaned back. Before we begin, we need to address the presence of Miss Umeh. Her history presents a serious credibility concern. Patrick placed a printed copy of the blog article on the table. This woman was involved in one of the most embarrassing compliance scandals in Lagos. We cannot allow her to guide proceedings against respected directors. Mrs. Ajayi looked at the paper. Is this your evidence? It is public record, Patrick said. Public gossip is no record, but we will get there. Kole smiled. Miss Umeh worked here as cleaning staff last week. Suddenly, she's advising on corporate restructuring. Are we running a company or Nollywood? A few people shifted uncomfortably. Tunde finally spoke, voice quiet. The woman you insult noticed what my legal department missed and what you hoped I would sign. Continue carefully. Chief Bamidele raised a hand. We are asking why an unvetted person with a questionable past has access to confidential documents. Nneka lifted her eyes. Because the vetted people were using confidential documents to prepare an unlawful transfer. The room went still. Mr. Okere leaned forward. Proceed with evidence. Mrs. Ajayi clicked the remote. The altered proposal appeared, page 7 highlighted. Nneka stood, and for 1 second the room blurred. She felt every eye measuring her dress, her past, her voice. Then she saw Musa through the glass wall outside, standing near the elevators. She saw Tunde at the head of the table, still and listening. She saw Mrs. Ajayi beside the screen, people who would not leave the room. She began. She explained the SPV structure, the asset transfer trigger, the automatic dilution, the false instability clause, and the hidden schedule. She made the trap visible enough that even those pretending not to understand had to see it. The foreign investor representative frowned. This version was not shown to our committee. Nneka clicked the next slide. Then why was a signature page inserted into the board pack through Ms. Shade Bello's account at 11:43 p.m.? Kola presented access logs. CCTV showed Kunle's legal assistant entering Shade's office. The forged letter with Tunde's signature appeared beside the real signature specimen. Kunle's face tightened. An assistant exceeded instructions. Nneka clicked again. That assistant acted after a password reset approved from your executive email. Kunle said nothing. Patrick took over. Even if there were procedural mistakes, that does not prove conspiracy. No, Nneka agreed. That is why we added money. The next slides showed Riverglass Advisory, payments from linked entities, empty consulting invoices, and connections to Patrick's office. Patrick's voice sharpened. This is selective interpretation. Nneka looked at him. Then explained why a company with no staff received port risk advisory money and passed funds to a vendor connected to the proposed SPV. Patrick's mouth opened, then closed. Nneka changed the slide. The Meridian Foundation records appeared. For the first time, Chief Bamidele's expression flickered. Nneka's voice softened, but sharpened at the edges. These are not complexities. These are women in Makoko, Ajegunle, and Badagry whose names were used to receive loans they never received. One beneficiary died before the payment date. Kola distributed statements. Mama Risi's recorded voice filled the boardroom, angry and clear. If I see 2 million, will this roof still be greeting rain inside my soup? No one laughed. Tunde looked at Patrick. You used my mother's foundation. Patrick wiped his forehead. I did not personally process. Chief Bamidele interrupted. This is becoming emotional. We came to discuss company governance, not market women. Nneka turned to him slowly. Chief, market women are governance when their names are used to steal. The words landed hard. Kunle stood. This meeting is being manipulated by a woman with revenge agenda. Nneka nodded once. I expected that. She clicked the final slide. Blue Gate Corridor. The name filled the screen. The room changed temperature. Kunle pointed at the screen. This is irrelevant. No, Nneka said. It is history repeating itself. She showed Riverglass links from Blue Gates, altered access logs, shell vendor patterns, and names connected to men sitting at the table. She did not defend herself emotionally. She defended the evidence. For the first time in 5 years, her old case was not a scandal whispered about her. It was a pattern shown in front of witnesses. Patrick muttered, This woman was discredited. Mrs. Ajayi raised a sealed folder. The disciplinary file was reopened last year after new information surfaced. Ms. Umeh was never convicted of any offense. Her suspension expired without finding of fraud. Several allegations were withdrawn quietly. Funny how quiet withdrawal never travels as fast as loud accusation. Nneka had not known that. She turned to Mrs. Ajayi, stunned. The older lawyer met her eyes. I told you good work was buried. Some of us kept digging. For a moment, Nneka could not breathe. Chief Bamidele saw the moment and struck. Even if she was not convicted, look at the chaos she brings. Since she appeared, this company is under investigation. The press is circling. Investors are unsettled. Tunde, remove sentiment. This woman is poison to stability. Tunde rose. The room quieted. When my father died, some of you came to my house wearing black and speaking of loyalty. I believed you. When my mother's foundation gave grants to women who cook, trade and raise children through hardship, I believed those records. When a woman in a cleaning uniform warned me not to sign page 7, I almost did not believe her because pride had made me blind. He looked at each partner. The poison was already here. Miss Umeh only found the cup. Chief Bamidele stood. Then you choose her over men who built with you? I choose evidence over ceremony. I choose truth over old handshakes, and I choose not to let my company become another graveyard for women whose names you use and discard. Mr. Okere closed his file. On behalf of the regulator, I am requesting immediate preservation of all records, suspension of contested transactions, and cooperation with a formal inquiry. The attempted restructuring cannot proceed. The investor representative stood. Our firm will also suspend participation pending independent review. The meeting ended not with shouting, but with the quiet collapse of men who had expected fear and met documentation. As people filed out, Kunle stopped beside Nneka. "You think this restores you?" he said under his breath. She looked at him. "No," she answered. "It restores the record. I will restore myself." He left. When the boardroom emptied, Nneka remained standing by the screen. Blue Gate Corridor still glowed behind her. For 5 years, that name had been a stone tied to her neck. Now it looked like evidence, not shame. Tunde approached slowly. "You did it." She shook her head. "Not yet. They will fight outside this room. They will call journalists. They will call my village. They will call people who owe them favors. Yes, my mother will cry again. Maybe." Nneka's eyes filled, but her voice stayed steady. "Then we continue." Tunde looked at her with something that had grown past gratitude. He did not name it. Not yet. The woman before him was standing in the middle of reclaimed ground. It was not a moment for possession, not even romantic words. It was a moment for respect. "What do you need now?" he asked. She looked at the folded grey scarf on the chair. "I need to call my mother before strangers tell her who I am." He nodded. "My office is yours." "No," she said gently. "I will call from my own office." He paused. "You do not have one yet." For the first time that day, a tired smile touched her face. "Then give me a small room with a door that locks from inside." By evening, a small unused office beside legal was cleared. It had one desk, 2 chairs, a cabinet, and a window facing the restless city. No nameplate yet, no ceremony, only space. Nneka sat there alone and called her mother. "Mama," she said before the older woman could begin crying. "Listen to me. This time, I did not bring shame. I brought receipts." Outside, Lagos traffic shouted. Inside, Nneka Umeh sat in a room that was not borrowed, not hidden, not given out of pity. And for the first time in years, when her past knocked, she did not run to open the door in fear. She let it wait while she finished speaking the truth. By Monday morning, the small office beside legal had a paper label taped to the door. Nneka Umeh, Temporary Compliance Advisor. The title looked plain, but when Nneka stood before it, her throat tightened. A room, a door, a name. Inside, there was a desk, a cabinet with a working lock, 2 chairs, and on the table, folded carefully, was the grey cleaning scarf she had left in the boardroom. Beside it lay a note in Tunde's handwriting. "Keep it if it reminds you how far you have come. Burn it if it reminds you of what tried to bury you. Your choice." She did not burn the scarf. She placed it inside the cabinet and locked it. Then the war outside the room began. By 10 o'clock, business blogs were carrying headlines about Adeyemi Meridian Logistics. By noon, one blog claimed Tunde had fallen under the influence of a discredited former compliance officer. By 2, old Blue Gate photographs appeared online, cropped to make Nneka look close to men she had once investigated, as if standing near dirt made a person dirty. Phones rang without rest. Investors wanted reassurance. Banks wanted clarity. Staff wanted salaries. In Lagos, confidence could melt faster than ice block inside traffic. Tunde told management that operations would continue, salaries would be paid early, and anyone insulting cleaning staff, security, or junior employees would answer to him. When a manager asked whether Nneka was management or witness, he looked at her before answering. She is both for now, and she is to be treated professionally. Soon after, caller came fast down the corridor, face tight. Sir, police are downstairs. Economic Crimes Unit. They have a petition saying Miss Umeh stole confidential documents and tried to extort directors with company data. Nneka heard the old world again. Fluorescent lights, polite questions, pens clicking while strangers decided whether she was a thief. Tunde's face hardened. Who signed it? Riverglass Advisory and a company linked to Patrick Eze. Nneka laughed once, without humor. They are fast. Tunde turned toward the lift. No one touches her. Nneka caught his sleeve before thinking, do not turn this into drama. If you shout, they will film Billionaire obstructs lawful inquiry. Let paper answer paper. His eyes searched her face. Can you do this? No, she said honestly, but I will. In the lobby, 2 officers stood with the building manager. Musa was behind reception, jaw tight, hands clasped, as if prayer and security had joined inside him. Inspector Danjuma said they had come to invite Nneka for questioning regarding unlawful possession of confidential corporate documents. Tunde said, her access is authorized. Then you will provide authorization records. The petition says otherwise. Nneka stepped forward. Inspector, I will cooperate, but I will not leave without counsel present and without receiving a copy of the petition. The officer's eyes sharpened. You know procedure. I learned it the hard way. Mrs. Ajayi arrived 30 minutes later. She read the petition and sighed. Lazy work, but dangerous lazy work. The petition claimed Nneka, still listed under the cleaning contractor, had unlawfully accessed executive files and sent messages demanding payment. It included screenshots supposedly from her email. I did not write this, Nneka said. Tunde looked at Kola. Digital audit. Already requested. The questioning happened in a small conference room near reception. Nneka answered calmly until the old poison came. Were you not previously accused in Bluegate Corridor? Her hands tightened under the table. I was accused. I was not convicted. Why would similar accusations follow you twice? For 1 second, the room disappeared. She saw herself 5 years younger, explaining that she had not altered records, that evidence had been planted, that the account in her name was not hers. Tunde leaned forward, but Nneka lifted one finger. Not yet. She looked at Inspector Danjuma. Because the same network is involved in both matters. Because the people I exposed once survive by discrediting me. Because they are trying the same method again. And because our society often believes a stain before it asks who poured the palm oil. Kola connected his laptop. The emails had been created through a temporary domain that mimicked Nneka's name. The IP trail led to a device previously connected to Patrick Eze's office Wi-Fi. The metadata showed a user profile registered to Riverglass. Access logs confirmed Nneka's document permissions began only after her advisory contract was signed. Mrs. Ajayi looked at the inspector. You can invite her formally if you enjoy wasting fuel, or you can amend your inquiry toward false petition and digital forgery. Inspector Danjuma closed the file. I will not detain Miss Umeh today, but I need full cooperation. You will have it, Nneka said. At the door, the officer paused. Be careful. People who move police with paper usually move worse things without paper. After they left, Nneka walked to the restroom, locked herself inside a store, and shook so badly she had to sit down. She had won the moment, but her body had not received the news. Her body still believed it was being dragged back into disgrace. A soft knock came outside. Nneka, Tunde's voice. "This is women's restroom," she said weakly. "I am outside the door. Mama Nneka is not here to shout sense into both of us, so I am improvising from corridor." Despite herself, a small laugh escaped. Then tears followed. "I am tired," she whispered. "I know." "No, you do not. I have to prove I am not a thief every time rich men become uncomfortable." Silence. Then Tunde said, "Come out when you are ready. Or don't. I will wait." He waited. When she came out, he was leaning against the opposite wall. Not close, not demanding. "I hated you for a moment," she said. "For what?" "For being able to protect me with one phone call. For needing you there. For wanting you there. That does not make you weak. It makes me afraid of depending on you. I am not asking you to depend on me. But you are becoming dependable. That is worse." His face softened. "I can try to be less reliable." She looked at him, then laughed through tears. By evening, the false petition had backfired. Inspector Danjuma requested River Glass records. Mrs. Ajayi filed a complaint for false reporting. Kola found payments moving through companies connected to Patrick and Kunle's relatives. Then Shade returned. She stood in Nneka's doorway just before 7, eyes swollen, holding her phone like evidence and confession. "Ma, please, can I talk to you?" "Come in." Shade sat and began to cry. "I am sorry. I did not know they were using my account. Mr. Kunle's assistant said Oga approved. They showed me letter. I was sick. My mother was in hospital, and Mr. Kunle had helped me with money before." "How much money?" Nneka asked. 500,000 naira for my mother's surgery deposits. Tunde, standing near the door, inhaled sharply. "Did he ask you to sign anything?" "No, just to give access. Later he told me if problem comes, I should say nothing because I accepted help and it could look bad. I have some messages." Nneka took the phone. "Sade, listen to me. Shame is how they keep people quiet. Help for your sick mother was turned into rope. That is not kindness. That is a leash." Tunde sat down slowly. "Your mother's hospital balance will be handled through the staff emergency fund, properly, with HR record, not as favor. After that, you will give a full statement." When Shade left, Tunde looked at Nneka. "I would have fired her immediately." "I know. You think that would be wrong?" "I think it would be convenient. They used her poverty. Hold her accountable, yes, but do not confuse the person holding rope with the hand that tied it." Tunde sat with that. "You are changing how I see my own company," he said. "Good. Companies do not become corrupt only because bad men enter. Sometimes they become corrupt because powerful men do not notice how fear moves through corridors." He looked at her then, and the room changed in a way neither of them was ready to name. Respect had been there, gratitude too, but now something quieter moved beneath both. Tunde stood. "It is late. Let me take you home." "No, I only meant I know, but not tonight. Tonight, if I let you drive me home, I may forget why I still need my own legs." He accepted the boundary. "Then I will ask Musa to arrange a company car." "A company car is still you." "Fair. I will take a ride-hailing car. Musa can confirm the plate number. That is enough." "That is not enough for my peace. Your peace must learn discipline." He blinked, then smiled. "Yes, ma." At the door, she stopped. "Tunde, It was the first time she had called him by name without formal distance. He looked up. "Thank you for waiting outside the restroom." He nodded. "Thank you for coming out." The next morning, the story changed. A major business paper published foundation documents, but not the version Patrick wanted. This leak included beneficiary statements, forged signatures, and Riverglass links. Investors demanded answers from Patrick. Chief Bamidele released a statement denying wrongdoing. Kole called Tunde 12 times. Tunde did not answer. Kola burst into Nneka's office 20 minutes later. "Sir, Madam, Sade's phone backup recovered messages. Kule's assistant sent the forged letter, and there is voice notes from Kule." He played it. "Sade, do not behave like village girl. Just give him access. Oga knows. If trouble comes, remember who paid hospital money." Tunde closed his eyes. Nneka spoke softly. "There is our leverage." By afternoon, the first crack became a break. Patrick's finance aide asked for protection. He confessed that the restructuring documents had been altered after investor review. Riverglass had moved money. The foundation fraud was larger than they knew, and Chief Bamidele planned to ask the board to suspend Tunde on grounds of reputational risk after the documents were signed. They had been one signature away. That evening, Tunde and Nneka stood in the empty boardroom where it had all begun. The city glowed behind them. "I thought I built a fortress," he said. "It was full of doors I did not know were open. You built a company. People turned your blind spots into doors. And you?" She looked at the table. "I thought I was finished. Maybe I was only buried shallow." "Not buried," he said. "Planted." She turned to him, eyes bright with tired emotion. "That is dangerously close to poetry, Mr. Adeyemi. My mother liked proverbs. I am trying." "She taught you well." "She would have liked you." Nneka looked away. That sentence touched the place she kept locked. Then Nneka's phone rang. Her mother. For a moment after she answered, only crying came through. Then her mother's voice, shaky but clear. "My daughter, I saw the newspaper. They said you were right. They said those people used your name before. Nneka, forgive me. I believed shame more than my own child." Nneka pressed one hand to her mouth. Tunde turned towards the window to give her privacy. "Mama," Nneka whispered, "I am still here." "Yes," her mother cried, "you are still here. Come home when this is over. Come and eat ofe onubu. Come, let people see your face." Nneka laughed and cried at the same time. "My mother asked me to come home," Nneka said after the call. "Not to explain, to eat." "That sounds serious." "In Igbo families, food can be apology." "Then you should go." "After we finish." By the time she left that night, Musa stood at the lobby door. "Madam Nneka," he said, "your car is outside. I checked plate number." "Thank you, Musa." He smiled. "No wahala. We are collecting evidence for everything now." She laughed. The men who once buried her had made one mistake. They thought survival made people small. They did not know that some people survive by shrinking only until the day truth gives them room to stand again. The final blow did not arrive with shouting. It arrived as a quiet email at 6:17 on Tuesday morning, while Lagos was still half awake, and the first downfall buses were already fighting for space on the road. Subject: Interim Findings and Enforcement Action. Tunde read it in his office, standing by the window with his tie loose around his neck. Nneka stood beside the small table, untouched tea cooling near her hand. Mrs. Ajayi joined by video from Abuja, and Kola sat with 2 notebooks open. The regulator had completed its first review. The attempted restructuring was suspended indefinitely. Riverglass Advisory was under investigation. Patrick Eze had been asked to step aside. Kule Lawson was summoned for questioning. Chief Bamidele Rhodes now had to explain the forged approvals, foundation payments, and concealed SPV documents. For a long moment, nobody celebrated. Victory, Nneka had learnt, did not always enter dancing. Sometimes it entered tired, carrying files. Tunde lowered the printed email slowly. "It is real," Kola exhaled. "Sir, this means they cannot push the suspension vote." "They can still fight," Mrs. Ajayi said from the screen, "but they are no longer fighting from darkness." Nneka looked at those words on the page. Darkness had been their country for years. Old scandals, whispered accusations, forged records, powerful men calling lies reputation management. Now, light had entered. Tunde turned to her. "How do you feel?" She should have said relieved. Instead, she felt empty, as if her body had been bracing against a door for so long that when the pressure stopped, she did not know how to stand. "I feel like sitting down," she said. "Then sit." Kola laughed first, then Tunde smiled. Even Mrs. Ajayi's stern face softened. By noon, the company issued a formal statement. Records would be preserved, contested agreements suspended, and governance strengthened. But Lagos did not know how to leave quiet things quiet. By evening, the same blogs that had called Nneka a scandal were now calling her the woman who saved Adeyemi Meridian. One headline described her as the cleaner who exposed a corporate coup. She hated it immediately. "I am not a cleaner who became useful," she told Tunde in the small office beside legal. "I was always a person. I cleaned floors because I needed to eat." Tunde nodded. "Then we correct the language." "You cannot correct every mouth in Lagos." "No, but we can correct ours." The next company memo referred to her as Miss Nneka Umeh, compliance specialist and advisor. No miracle cleaner, no PT story, no costume change, just her name and her work. That mattered. 2 days later, the board met again. Patrick's seat was empty. Kule appeared through a lawyer. Chief Bamidele did not appear at all. The investors attended with colder faces and warmer respect. The board voted to appoint an interim ethics and risk committee, reopen all related transactions, and retain Nneka for a 6-month advisory contract while formal background restoration proceedings continued. When the chairman asked Nneka whether she accepted, Tunde did not answer for her. "I accept," Nneka said, "on one condition. This committee will protect not only shareholders, but also drivers, cleaners, warehouse staff, market women, contract workers, and port hands. If their signatures can create value, their dignity must have value too." The silence that followed was recognition. "So recorded," the chairman said. Life did not become easy. It became honest, and honest things could still be difficult. For weeks, Nneka reviewed vendor lists, foundation beneficiaries, old contracts, and port clearance arrangements. Some staff resented her. Others came quietly with stories they had never told. Fake allowances, supervisors demanding cuts, drivers forced to sign fuel logs they did not understand, contract workers treated as if poverty had no voice. Nneka listened. She wrote. She sent cases through proper channels. She learned that one corruption exposed often opened the mouth of another. Tunde changed too. He began walking the floors without announcing himself. He sat with the cleaning team and asked how wages were paid. Mama Bisi told him the contractor delayed salaries and deducted money for uniforms already returned. By Monday, the contractor was under review. At Apapa warehouse, he stood under the hot sun and listened to complaints about safety boots, overtime, and supervisors who sold shift slots. He did not fix everything in one day, but he stopped pretending that distance was management. One evening, Nneka found him in the old boardroom alone, looking at page 7 of the failed agreement. "You still keep that paper?" she asked, as reminder of betrayal, of blindness. She sat across from him. The room no longer frightened her the way it had on the first day. It was still cold, still polished, still filled with memories of powerful men trying to reduce her. But her voice had lived here now. That changed the walls. "My mother called again," she said. "She wants me to come home." Tunde looked up. "Are you going?" "Yes." "Are you afraid?" "Yes." "Do you want company?" She almost said no from habit. Independence had become her shield, but shields could become heavy when carried even to dinner. "You can come as far as the village square," she said. "After that, Igbo mothers have their own court system." "I will dress respectfully." "Please do. Do not wear Lagos billionaire arrogance to my village." He smiled. "I will leave the arrogance in Ikoyi." She returned from the visit 2 days later, quieter but lighter. Her mother had cried, apologized, cooked bitter leaf soup, and held her like a daughter, not a scandal. Her brother had admitted cowardice. The village still whispered, but this time Nneka walked through the whispers with her head uncovered. Something in her had loosened, not healed completely. Some wounds still had weather, but she had entered the place of old shame and left without bowing to it. Months passed. Adeyemi Meridian changed in visible and quiet ways. The foundation was rebuilt with real verification. Women traders received loans directly and were trained to read the terms before thumbprinting. Drivers attended sessions on contracts and wages. Cleaning staff became direct employees, not invisible through contractors. A staff hotline opened, and to Nneka's surprise, people used it. Her 6-month advisory contract became a permanent appointment. Director of Ethics, Risk and Compliance. The new nameplate took her breath away. Nneka Umeh, Director of Ethics, Risk and Compliance. She touched the letters once, not to prove they were real, but to greet the woman who had survived long enough to stand before them. Tunde stood behind her, giving space. "You earned it," he said. "I know," she replied. He laughed softly. "No argument?" "No. Humility is not the same as pretending not to know your work." My mother would have liked that too. "You keep bringing your mother into things." "She had better judgment than me." "That is not difficult." He placed a hand over his chest. "Madam Director, that one wounded me." She smiled, and the smile stayed longer now. Their love came slowly, like rain that did not flood the street but entered the soil. It came in late night tea after difficult hearings. It came in the way Tunde asked before appearing at her office door, even months after he no longer needed to. It came when he did not make her recovery a story to impress investors. It came when she corrected him sharply in meetings and he listened without punishing the truth. It came when she saw him apologize to Mama Bisi for not knowing how the contractors treated them, and she understood that his change was not performance for her. One Friday evening, after the final regulatory report cleared Nneka of any wrongdoing in the Blue Gate matter and recommended disciplinary action against several former officials, she sat alone on the rooftop terrace of the office. Lagos glowed below, loud and alive. Tunde found her there with 2 bottles of malt. "Celebration," he said. "For being cleared of something I never did? For the record finally catching up with the truth." She took 1 bottle. "That one I can drink to." They sat side by side, not touching at first. "I used to think if my name was cleared, I would become the old Nneka again," she said. but she is gone. Do you miss her? Sometimes she was lighter, more trusting, but she also did not know what she could survive. Tunde nodded. Do you like who you are now? Yes, she said after a while. Some days I am still angry. Some days I am tired. But I like her. I like her too. She looked at him. Careful, Mr. Adeyemi. I am being careful. No, you are being brave. Is there a difference? Yes. Careful asks permission. Brave tells the truth after permission is given. He turned fully toward her. Has permission been given? She let the city noise pass between them for a moment. Horns, generators, distant music, the stubborn pulse of Lagos. Yes, she said softly. Tunde took a breath. Nneka, I love you. Not because you saved my company. Not because you make me look better. Not because you are strong in a way that benefits me. I love you because of how you see. How you refuse to let people disappear inside titles. How you carry pain without letting it make you cruel. I love you, and I am willing to move at the speed of your peace. Her eyes filled. My peace can be slow, she whispered. I have learned from Lagos traffic. Slow can still reach destination. She laughed through tears. I love you too, she said, but I will not be hidden, decorated, or managed. I would not survive trying. No, you would not. When he reached for her hand, he paused before touching. She closed the distance herself. 1 year later, Nneka walked through the same private lobby where Tunde had once nearly stepped on wet marble and snapped at a woman with a mop. This time, she wore a deep green suit and flat shoes comfortable enough for real work. Staff greeted her by name. Musa saluted dramatically from the desk. Good morning, Madam Director. Good morning, Evidence Collector Musa. He laughed. I have retired from secret investigation. Until further notice. Near the service corridor, Nneka saw a young cleaner struggling with a bucket while a junior manager spoke to her with careless irritation. Do you people not use your eyes? Must you block the way? Nneka stopped. The lobby seemed to remember. She walked over calmly. Good morning. The manager straightened immediately. Good morning, Ma. What is her name? He blinked. Ma? The woman you were speaking to. What is her name? He looked ashamed because he did not know. The cleaner whispered, Ruth, Ma. Nneka took the bucket handle and moved it aside with Ruth. Ruth is working. You are walking. Both deserve respect. Yes, Ma. Good. Start again. The young man turned to Ruth, face hot. I am sorry. Ruth stared, then nodded. Later that day, Nneka entered her office and saw the grey cleaning scarf framed on the wall behind her desk. Not as shame, as witness. Below it, a small plaque read, No honest work reduces human dignity. Nneka touched the frame lightly. Her phone buzzed. A message from Tunde. Dinner tonight? Your mother says I must learn proper bitter leaf soup before I can make serious proposal. Nneka laughed so loudly. Shade peeped in from the corridor. Ma, are you okay? I am fine, Nneka said, still smiling. And she was. Not because all pain had vanished. Pain did not vanish like power supply in a storm. It changed shape. It became wisdom, boundary, courage, memory. She looked through the glass wall at Lagos, spread wide beneath the afternoon sun. The city that had once swallowed her name had given it back, but not as gift. She had taken it back with receipts, witnesses, courage, and the help of people who refused to leave the room. Nneka Umeh was no longer the woman hiding behind a mop, nor only the lawyer people had tried to destroy. She was proof that dignity could be buried under rumors, uniforms, and silence, yet still rise when truth found breath. And in Adeyemi Meridian Logistics, where one ignored woman had stopped a powerful betrayal, everybody learned the lesson Tunde Adeyemi would never forget. The person you overlook today may be the one heaven sends to save you tomorrow.